Welcome, adventure seekers, to the D23 Fantastic World celebration. We're so glad you've come along for the ride. At D23, the official Disney fan club, we celebrate all the worlds of Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel with VIP experiences, special offers, exclusive content, and more all year round. Now buckle up and be sure to stay tuned for a special membership offer from D23. Now please enjoy Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, storytelling through merchandise.
My name is Brad Schoenberg, and I'm Director of Merchandise Strategy and New Park Experiences Development. My team actually leads the franchises for Star Wars and Marvel, and we really look at how we're going to tell those stories across Disney retail. We not only develop the strategies, but we also build the entire product assortment from blue sky all the way to shelf. I can't wait to invite guests into this land for the first time. The world that this team has built is unlike anything they have ever seen. This land is so completely immersive. It really gave us the opportunity to bridge merchandise from just a tangible item to an integral experience as part of your visit to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I continue to be amazed and inspired by the diverse group of talent that we have here at the company. They've inspired me every step of the way along with Galaxy's Edge. Every product for me is a story of how that product made it to shelf. And that's through the relationships, the dialogue, the storytelling, the design. We've really been able to do something here for our guests that they will remember for a lifetime.
Bright suns, everyone! I'm Mark Daniel, and I'm excited to be here today to talk about one of my favorite places at Disney parks, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. To be exact, Batuu on the edge of wild space. We're here to talk about how merchandise extends the story of the epic land that opened last year both at Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World Resort and Disneyland Resort. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge invites guests to live their own Star Wars adventures as they explore the remote planet of Batuu, which is full of unique sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and other immersive experiences. Black Spire Outpost is a place where guests can come across aliens, droids, and other inhabitants of the planet as they search for rare and unique goods, discover unusual food and drink, or seek new adventures. Today, we are taking a closer look into how Disney parks drew inspiration from all parts of the Star Wars galaxy to create the robust collection of merchandise found at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and how the storytelling continues to guide their way as they create these authentic items. With me today are Brad Schoenberg, Director, Merchandise Strategy and New Park Experience Development, John Cody Hampton, Senior Merchandiser, Merchandise Strategy and New Park Experience Development, and Tracy Alt, Senior Merchandiser, Merchandise Strategy and New Park Experience Development.
Hi. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
So, welcome to you all and bright suns.
Bright suns.
Bright suns.
Now, let's get started. Brad, how did you start the journey of creating this merchandise for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge?
Actually, I'll take you back to the very beginning for me because it was an exciting moment in my life. I was probably one of the first merchandise cast members that was brought into the project. It was January 2013 when I received a request to build out a presentation deck of what merchandise could potentially look like in a Star Wars land. So we, of course, went through many changes before we opened, but getting that call was Kid Brad's dream come true. Personally, you were so excited, but professionally, you're not able to talk about it with anyone outside of the project circle. So I was glad each time we brought more people into the project. It was literally years keeping the strategy and assortment under wraps.
Ooh, that's a long time to keep a secret. I remember seeing some of the awesome products when I visited the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge booth at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago back in 2019. Now, was that the first time you were able to share your work and talk about it?
Yes, Star Wars Celebration Chicago was such an exciting and surreal experience. Going in, I kept asking myself, are we really going to show what we've been working on? Are we really going to talk about this? And with the general public, just so exciting. And we took full advantage of the opportunity. If you were able to visit our booth each day, you would have noticed that we changed out our product showcase daily to provide a small preview what guests would experience throughout Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
And I do remember that because every day there was something new to be featured, and I remember everybody was waiting for the day they could see that Kowakian monkey lizard. Now, Star Wars Celebration is an event not to be missed. It's amazing to see all the fans and the excitement and love for Star Wars. Now, I had the privilege to attend one of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge openings, and that was a day I will never forget. So many great surprises, so much to see.
It was such an amazing experience, of course, for many of us working, many years in the making. But to see the Millennium Falcon parked there in the outpost, to be able to showcase all the amazing products that we've been working on with the media interviews, we just couldn't wait for guests to bring the land to life by coming to visit us and really experiencing it all for themselves.
Now, let's take a deep dive into what makes the merchandise in Batuu so authentic and so much a part of the storytelling and experience at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. What kind of research did you and your team do, and how did it influence the overall collection?
We did extensive research, more so than I've done with any other project in my career at Disney, and really working with the Walt Disney Imagineering and Lucasfilm teams to create the experiences, the product line, and really building out those retail spaces was just amazing. For marketplace research, for example, we even were able to visit the set of Rogue One and looked at the marketplace in Jeddah. We were able to view costumes there, see the creature shop, check out all the props, which we ultimately translated into a lot of the products that you see in the marketplace today.
Wow, that is incredible. I'm a little jealous, Brad. Rogue One is probably my favorite Star Wars film. Now, can you tell us more about how that translated into the creation of the marketplace?
Well, in the real world, markets such as this are really found in places scattered throughout the globe. I think of things like Marrakesh or Istanbul. The marketplace that we have still has that same eclectic flavor, but with a twist that is purely Star Wars.
All right now, Tracy, I love your jacket. I could see that it says Hope, and I'm wearing a t-shirt that can be purchased in the marketplace. But could you tell us more about some of the iconic clothing in that area?
Absolutely. So one of the first things we really wanted to do is make sure that we had something for everybody. And I don't mean male, female, adult, kids. I really mean also fan engagement. If you're a casual fan, all the way to the fan that wants to go live on Batuu. So when you look at Black Spire Outfitters and you look at the different type of role plays that we provided, it was all in. So you could do what we call a traditional Sith look or a traditional Jedi look, but the intent is you can mix and match all that you want. But we also did things that, like the Foray's look example, like if I'm a mom and I want to go in with my daughter or my husband, I'm a casual fan, right? According to a lot of people. Perhaps I don't want to be all in on a Rey look. I can put the armbands on or the belt on and I'm in story. That's my level of engagement. But if I'm that mom who's with my daughter or my kid and I'm a super fan engaged, then I can go in and put the whole look on and be right there and in and having my own journey and my own experience, how I want to be able to experience that land. The interesting note is you go on, we'll have some side-by-side comparisons, is that we got to go and look at the actual costumes at Skywalker Ranch and work with the archivist and see the original ones that we used in the making of the first 6 films. So the brown and black robes are actually based on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker's that they wear in Ep3, Revenge of the Sith. So that's really, really exciting. And we worked extremely closely with the archivist. We actually also, like when you talk about when they walk and they have that flow of their robes and they go down the halls or wherever they're going, we actually put the robes on and we walk down the hallways of our office to make sure we got the proper flow all the way to those details. Because we wanted to make sure if you put it on, you felt you were putting on the actual robes that they wore in film. And we translated that right into the land.
Well, good job, Tracy. The details are most impressive. Now, I want to talk about the Toydarian Toymaker. Now, I have some of those toys myself at home, and Cody, I can see a few in your background. With an abundance of myths and stories across the Star Wars galaxy, how does the story help to both inspire you as well as narrow down what you want to focus on?
Well, we knew from Star Wars A New Hope, at the very beginning, we knew toys existed within the Star Wars galaxy. We saw Luke Skywalker playing with his T-16 Skyhopper model. We also saw a small Tuca doll for a young Twi'lek girl in Star Wars The Clone Wars. And then in Rogue One, we saw Jin's wooden Stormtrooper doll and Saw Gerrera's Band of Rebels playing a game of Djarin. So we took those elements and we actually translated those into actual product. So at the Toydarian Toymaker, you can actually get your own Tuca doll plush, a wooden Stormtrooper doll, or the game of Djarin itself. But that's not all. That actually springboarded into an entire store of awesome toys where you can actually get musical instruments, you can get wooden figures and vehicles, games like Sabacc and Chance Cubes, and even artisan plush of some of your favorite heroes and villains. And if we took an item directly from screen, no detail was missed. Like the Ewok drum, for example, was taken from a direct 3D scan from the actual original prop, which is, to me, just super cool to be able to see that for our guest. Right now on Shop Disney for a limited time, you can actually get some of the artisan plush, including Wicket the Ewok, Lando Calrissian, and Watto, who is actually a Toydarian from the Toydarian Toymaker, which is really cool. The artisan plush are all made out of different materials and all designed based on stories the Toydarian Toymaker actually heard from across the galaxy. And some new plush that are available currently at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge are the Child, Maz Kanata, and Boba Fett. Speaking of Boba Fett, coming soon to Disney's Hollywood Studios, guests can actually purchase their very own Boba Fett wooden doll inspired by the Jyn Stormtrooper doll.
Whoa, now that is very cool. I know a lot of fans are going to want to grab one of those, Cody. Now, in addition to toys, you can also adopt creatures in the creature stall. Brad, did you follow the same process and principles when searching for the right stories to tell?
Yes. Well, the markets that I've visited in different parts of the world often have pet shops. So our pet shop is our creature stall, and it is the wildest pet shop in the galaxy. It really does all start with the amazing creatures that you meet within the Star Wars universe. They're such a signature part of that world. We were inspired by the great creatures from the films, the animated content, and even now with The Mandalorian. We took all those assets and turned them into what you see today. At the creature stall, each creature comes to life in its very own unique way. Some of my favorites are the Porg, the Tauntaun, of course, from Empire Strikes Back, and the Kowakian monkey lizard, and Wart, which we originally met in Return of the Jedi. Wart's actually a great example of where we took the 3D scan of the prop from Return of the Jedi and then brought that creature to life in a slightly smaller scale that's a little easier to bring back from your Adventure of Batuu. The Wart and a few other creatures are available for a select time on Shop Disney, but that's not all. Coming in December, guests will now be able to take home their very own Dianoga. Of course, we know the Dianoga originally met the Dianoga in A New Hope, but we also see it around Galaxy's Edge. If you take a look, I'd start with the drinking fountains. You can see the Dianoga comes in its own container, and I think Cody has one, yes, there to show you.
Wow, now that is awesome. I will definitely be keeping an eye out for that one. Now, speaking of that cute Dianoga, isn't there one at Dockendar's Den of Antiquities? That place has a great collection of artifacts and clothing from throughout the ages. Brad, can you touch on the story of that particular place?
Yes, you can find a Dianoga at Dockendar's. The Dockendar's product, I have to tell you, was both a thrill and a little bit of a terror at the same time. We have the best fans and collectors in the world, and they love this brand and they love the detail. It was a thrill to deliver such an authentic product line, while a little bit fearful that we might miss something. There's so much good detail out there. One of the things that I love about Star Wars is the multi-generational impact of our stories. Whether you came in with the original trilogy or our latest films or even through animation, there's an artifact to be discovered by you at Galaxy's Edge. I think fans would really appreciate the level of research, the depths that we went to try to capture every single detail. And when details didn't exist because they weren't needed on camera, we went back to the Lucasfilm story team and they helped us fill in the blanks. While we don't have time to go into every single story, there's so many, we can certainly share a few highlights. Tracy, you want to talk about the Emperor?
Okay, so I'm really excited to talk to you about the Emperor robe. This was really fun. Again, we were able to see the original at Skywalker Ranch and work with the archivist to be able to get all of those details that we wanted to make sure we created from film right into the product that we have in the land. And actually within the pictures that you're going to see, there's side-by-side comparisons. And on one of those is the one that we saw in the land, and one of them is the original. And I'll let you guess and figure out which is which, because it was spot on. And when we were sitting there and putting these on mannequins with the archivist, we all took a step back and we're honestly stunned about how close they matched to each other. But one of the big surprises on the Emperor is he has an under tunic, and there was a pattern and a detail in that under tunic and that fabric, which I just never realized that there was there. On film, you never get to see it. So When they were crafting all of these costumes that they used in film, the amount of detail that we actually don't even be able to really see is amazing. And we just want to be true to that as much as possible and capture that into the product that to be able that guest to be able to have that same experience. So the next role play item I'm going to talk to you about is Princess Leia. So for me, this is a dream come true. The first film I ever saw in a movie theater was the original Star Wars A New Hope. So for me, like Brad alluded to earlier, Kid Brad, this was Kid Tracy dream come true to be able to create this iconic dress. She was the princess that I always wanted to be. So for us, this was fun and really also a labor of love and working with the archivist because we weren't able to see the original because it was out on tour. So we really mined through a lot of photography and different images and being able to get the exact build as you could, so to speak, get it correct. One of the things to note is in some cases, we actually got the measurements of the actors. So that way, if we had patterns or we had the fit, we can actually make sure how the intended fit was on, because they're built for each character or actor. We can make sure that we actually were trying to be true to that same type of fit. So if it was supposed to drape a certain way on their frame, we wanted to be able to drape it the same way on our frame, which is one of the cases in this dress as well. So we were able to at least use a little bit of patterns and some measurements to be able to do that. When we went for the side-by-side, is the first time we actually saw the original that they have back in the archives. And that's when we noticed that our belt was off because we did the belt all from photography. So that is something that we had to make a change into production on the fly to be able to get it to be more accurate to what you see in film. So the last thing I'm going to share with you from Doc and Dars is our jewelry. So the jewelry was very exciting for us. And then much like Cody did with the creatures and the toys, we wanted to make sure that we were looking across all of our film content to be able to bring this jewelry to life for our guest. One of my favorite items is Paige and Rose Tico's necklaces. Those two necklaces and the bond that they symbolize to me of sisterhood and even best friends was something that we wanted to really honor and stay true to. We actually got to be able to see the original ones, and in real life, they're bigger than I thought they would be. And we wanted to make sure that we honored that. So we didn't change anything with the dimensions. We stayed true to the materials. And there's two different necklaces for them to attach to. So we also recreated that as well. To me, those were just precious moments. And when you think about those scenes, and I think about Paige holding onto that necklace, we just wanted to honor that and the spirit of what those necklaces meant to those two sisters. I'm also going to talk to you about the cuff on the bottom right. This one's really fun. This is from Queen Amidala that she wears in The Phantom Menace. This is actually one of the adornments that she wears in her hair. But for us, we're like, it could have been a bracelet cuff that she wears in her hair, or could it be a hair ornament that she took in a bracelet cuff? There's so many things you could do with it. So we took this as inspiration and we made it into the bracelet cuff. This is, again, is one that we actually created from photography at first. And then at the very end, when we were doing a lot of the side-by-side comparisons, we actually saw the original hairpiece. And we knew we had to make a change because the gold color was completely off, and so was the color of the turquoise stones. So we called the supplier right away. I actually called while I was staring at it and said, we need to make a change. And we caught it into production to make sure that we were creating and taking that authentic experience to our guest. And of course, I can't leave this slide without talking about Princess Leia's iconic necklace from A New Hope. This one was really exciting to be able to do. We reached out to the original supplier, Laponia, who had the one that Princess Leia wears in the film. And we reached out to them and we were like, we want to do this. We have to get this to our guests. And they were just as excited to be able to produce this as we were. So they actually went back to the original mold that they had over 40 years ago and recreated that mold for us. So that way we could supply the original one as is to our guests, which is really, really exciting for us to be able to offer this necklace for the first time to our guests in park.
The jewelry makes a stunning accessory, but perhaps the most elegant Star Wars item to carry with you is a lightsaber. So, Cody, can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes. So at Doc and Dar's Den of Antiquities, that's where you'll actually find our Legacy lightsabers. We have a variety of different types of Legacy hilts. And we tell you, it's been a dream come true of mine to actually be able to create these hilts for our guests. And I know they love them just as much as I do. Recently, we actually released our brand new Darth Tyrannus lightsaber, aka Count Dooku, for those who don't know his secret Sith name, and our new Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars color-changing Legacy lightsaber hilts.
Now, Cody, didn't Doc recently reach out to fans to help vote for a new Legacy lightsaber?
He did, yes. With Dokandar, we reached out to all the Star Wars fans. We actually pulled lightsaber hilts from across the Star Wars galaxy, from the films, the animation, and even the video games. And the winner was Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order. This lightsaber, I can't wait to work on and brand it and deliver to our guests in fall 2021. There are a few other things with Legacy lightsabers that I want to hit on. The first one is between now and when we release the Cal Kestis lightsaber, there will be new Legacy lightsaber releases. So please make sure you keep checking back at Dockandars throughout the year, because you never know when he's going to get a new shipment of lightsabers. With that, we also know with these new lightsabers, some of our first edition lightsabers will be retired. So as new sabers come in, other sabers will be going out. And what you'll need to know is just keep checking back with Dokandar, and he and his staff will let you know when a lightsaber is retired. Lastly, for those D23 Gold and Gold family members, you will be one of the first to have the opportunity to purchase the Luke Skywalker lightsaber hilt, Ben Solo lightsaber hilt, and the reforged Skywalker lightsaber hilt on Shop Disney starting November 19th at noon Pacific.
Whew, those new lightsabers, man, they are really beautiful. And truly, I cannot wait to get my hands on one of them. Now, another artifact that is available at Dockandars is the Holocron. Can you tell us more about how you brought those to life?
Working on the Holocrons is one of the best things inside Dockandars' Den of Antiquities. I love bringing those to life, but it was a challenge because we actually had to start from scratch. We actually had to start with 2D artwork on this one because there really was no prop from a film or from like a live action show. Nothing like that existed except for the reference within Star Wars The Clone Wars and then Star Wars Rebels. So we took the 2D animation, decided the holocrons we wanted to make, and we took that 2D artwork and then we brought it into a 3D model and then actually had to make it to where it was an actual functioning product. Here, you can also see how it actually, an exploded view breaks out of all the different pieces that make up both the Jedi and the Sith holocrons. But even in this exploded view, it's still missing batteries, lights, and all the complex gearing that actually brings the holocron to life. But you take all those components, bring them together, and you have the finished holocrons, which I think turned out fantastic. Within each holocron, they actually contain a wealth of different knowledge. And how do you unlock that? You use the Force and you use the different Kyber crystals. Each Kyber crystal will actually unlock new content and new knowledge for you to learn and discover. And some of the content that you can learn and discover is actually brand new exclusive content never before told only through these holocrons. For example, working on the Ahsoka Tano White Kyber crystal was so fun and unique because that was new exclusive content. I was actually being able to take part in creating the script with the Lucasfilm story team and was at a recording session with Ashley Eckstein as she recorded the voice of Ahsoka Tano for the little Kyber crystal that we'd sell at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And that just goes to show and the relationship and how strong it is between us and Lucasfilm.
Now, Brad, can these Kyber crystals also work in the lightsabers you can build at Savi's workshop?
I am so proud to say, yes, they can. These actually started out as separate ideas, but as we began development, it became both a challenge and an opportunity to get these products to interconnect and kind of talk to one another. Savi's is probably one of the longest running ideas that we had for a Galaxy's Edge experience. From the very beginning, there was the hope of enabling guests to build their very own lightsaber, much in the way we've seen through Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, or even Rey. But of course, in Galaxy's Edge, this is your story. The First Order has a presence in Black Spire Outpost, and they are not so fond of lightsabers. So much like a blacksmith shop, the Gatherers have set up a backroom operation where they will guide you through the journey of building your own lightsaber. Cody, we had so much inspiration for these. You want to tell us a little bit about what went into them?
Absolutely. Savi's workshop is one of my favorite experiences at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And creating those authentic lightsabers, we took inspirations from the entire Star Wars galaxy. One of the first inspirations we took was in Star Wars The Clone Wars, where you could see them building lightsabers. That was the inspiration for the chassis of the Savi Workshop lightsabers. But we had to take that reference and actually make it into a physical working product where it has batteries, lights, and of course contains and holds the working Kyber crystal. We actually then decided we needed to have different themes and different pieces. So we created the 4 different themes: peace and justice, power and control, elemental nature, and protection and defense. Here you can see a few early concepts of the peace and justice and the power and control. You can see there's so many fun different pieces here in a 2D artwork. It's super cool. Some of them you may recognize, some of you've never seen before, and it's very exciting to share some of the early works with everyone here. Next, you can also see early designs for the elemental nature and protection and defense. So we took all of those different lightsaber pieces, 2D artworks, and then we took them and made them into rendered lightsaber pieces. So that way we got to have more of the look and feel of how the lightsabers were going to look in real life, and the fun different combinations you can make when you mix and match the different lightsaber pieces. But you can still see here with the peace and justice and power and control that there's more pieces here than there are offered today for our guest. Even here you can see some available in the elemental nature and protection defense. That was another great day at the office because we got to sit down with Lucasfilm to actually look at all the different parts and pieces in the rendered form and determine what had that authentic Star Wars DNA and what did not. Then we had a clear path that translated to the actual parts and pieces we all know and love today. But creating the different themes was one of the most favorite parts of the Savi's workshop experience. They're so unique and they're so different than any other lightsaber that you've seen before. Even the symbols are so different. Our design team did a fantastic job creating the different symbols for the Savi's workshop lightsabers. Each of them even have a hidden lightsaber built into each of the designs. If you even look at the power and control, you can see a Darth Vader-like emitter at the base with a lightsaber shooting up. We know our guests love these different symbols, and Tracy has created a brand new product line that features all these great symbols.
Thanks, Cody. We wanted to be able to bring and extend that great experience that that the guest had in Savi's workshop and bring that into different product type. And honestly, let them be able to maybe show their enthusiasm in different ways. So we created some apparel items and pin and patch sets that really go back and tie into that experience. And I actually just learned myself that there's a lightsaber in every single one of those emblems. And I've been on this project team for years. So even though I'm on the team, I'm still learning about our project to this day.
Thanks, Tracy. Savi's workshop is such a special place and it's very near and dear to my heart. And every time I walk into that workshop, there's always something new for me to see. But you know what we haven't talked about yet? That's a huge part of Star Wars and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Droids! Brad, can you talk about how the Droid Depot came about?
Thanks, Mark. Yes, droids are a part of the DNA of Star Wars. Much like the lightsabers, droids were a part of our strategy from the very first day. However, the concepts definitely took shape as our storytellers of Walt Disney Imagineering and Lucasfilm crafted the idea of a droid shop, a manufacturer and supplier of droids, droid parts, and everything literally in the galaxy related to droids. We've had so much fun inviting guests into our Droid Depot droid shop to build their very own astromech unit. What a unique experience that you could only have when living out your Star Wars story. The droid experience was also recognized by the Toy Industry Association with the Toady Award in 2019, or the Toy of the Year Award in 2019, which was a great compliment to everyone that worked as part of the Build Your Own Astromech experience. We love expanding our family of droids. And Cody, I think you want to talk about one of those family extensions right now.
Straight from Star Wars Resistance is our brand new BB unit, which is CB23. The remote control BB unit with exclusive personality chip will be available tomorrow at Disney's Hollywood Studios. CB23 is a resistance droid that works with Poe to defeat the First Order. And when there's one thing we know that droids love is our droid carrier bag.
Yes, the droid bag is such a fun element and really is integral to the experience as well, because you got to have something to carry your droid in and show it off, right? So this is something where Cody and I actually did a lot of collaboration on, and he got me early prototypes of the different droid bases, because those droids need to be secure when they're in that bag. So we worked really hard with those bases and the weight of it to make sure that they're secure, that the base had to hold two different types of the round dome of a BB, and then the legs was an R series. So like, how are we going to do that? And make sure it's also functional. We also wanted the guests to be able to show off their droid that they just created and built in the land, and perhaps even hear some of the noises that when they're speaking to them. And how are we going to do that? It's not something that we've ever done before. So that's why we have that opening in the front of that zipper, so it can be secure in there, and you can open it up and you can have that experience of walking around and having the droid interact with the land and being able to hear and see all the movement. And then if you need to close it up, like you're going to go to dinner, your droid needs to go to sleep, whatever you want to do, then you can zip it back up and just go about as it would be a normal backpack. Another item that I don't think anybody is aware that also uses droid parts is our droid headbands. So this is also one where we collaborated with Cody and the build experience, and we use actually the same molds of the domes that are coming out of that build. So the BB and the R2 domes, they're the same exact molds that you can get, that you have in that experience. We just size them down and lighten them up because we are wearing them on top of your head. So if you were to create your droid using these two bases and got the headband itself, they're actually going to match. So that is a fun fact that no one really knows. And they do light up and you have authentic sounds, just like you have within a build experience itself.
And with Droid Depot, I mean, there's so many things to discover within Mubo's shop, but some of the best things also are outside his shop. He actually has 5 droids outside on display that I know guests and myself love to check out and look at and see. And we thought, okay, so if guests love these that much, maybe they want to bring them home with them. So coming soon to Disney's Hollywood Studios, you can actually bring home a Droid Factory 5-pack of all 5 of the droids featured from outside of the Droid Depot.
Well, Cody, I got to tell you, I do love visiting those droids when I'm on Batuu, listening to them argue and talk to each other. Now, Tracy, there is a distinct look to the droids of Star Wars. How did you bring that to the merchandise at Droid Depot?
So as we've talked about the product for the rest of the space and the stories we wanted to tell, we really wanted to tell the story of how you build a droid. So we'll have a manufacturing statement because you need to have a manufacturer in order to build a droid. We have a schematic statement because you kind of need the directions on how you're going to build the droid. We have a circuitry statement because now we're starting to build it and now we're inside and making all those connections so they can move and make sound. And then we have our full and complete droids. So if you look at that, 2 of the stories that we're going to highlight here are manufacturing. Manufacturing was so exciting because a lot of times the guest doesn't know who the manufacturers are for all of our different droids. So we're able to really celebrate that within this product. Another thing that we wanted to celebrate was the Droid Depot logo. So that is actually the logo outside of the shop. And it was so amazing. We thought the guests would have a connection to it. And we really wanted to be able to lean into that as well and provide that to that guest. The next story that we really wanted to showcase here is circuitry. And circuitry was really fun. We had 2 different looks for us. One was all full color and one was like more of a tonal with metallics. The fun thing is on the voice tee is that actually R2-D2 is on the front and C-3PO is on the back. And we have the connections of the circuitries connecting them through the side. And for us, and when we were always developing it, it was to symbolize their connection as droid friends. And we really thought that was a fun little nod to that, even though the guests might not ever know that when we were developing the item. And one more thing, select merchandise from Droid Depot will be dropping in the next shipment of the Star Wars Trading Post on shopdisney.com this January.
Well, again, thank you, Tracy, and thank you, Brad and Cody. The detail and care that you all put into these products for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is truly amazing. Thank you for sharing the history and process with us and what it takes to tell a story using creatures, droids, lightsabers, robes, kyber crystals, clothing, so each one of us can experience our own piece of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And speaking of getting your own piece of Galaxy's Edge, there is select merchandise right now at Star Wars Trading Post at Disney Springs and at Wonderground Gallery presents Star Wars Trading Post at Downtown Disney District and on shopdisney.com for a limited time only. And remember that select Droid Depot merchandise will be dropping on shopdisney.com starting in January. And for those D23 Gold and Gold family members, don't forget, you'll have early access to 3 Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Legacy Lightsabers on shopdisney.com starting November 19th at noon Pacific. You can live your own Star Wars adventure at Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World Resort. Thank you for joining us, and till the Spire.
Till the Spire.
Till the Spire.
Till the Spire.
Thanks for joining us for D23's Fantastic World Celebration. Keep the fun going all year round with a D23 Gold membership. Take your love of all things Disney to the next level with exclusive Gold member benefits like our quarterly publication and annual Gold member gift. And for a limited time, get a complimentary D23 Fantastic Worlds pin set when you buy a new Gold or Gold Family membership. And we have even more in store for you with our D23 Season of Magic. Check back on D23.com where we'll be celebrating the joy of the holidays and those Disney traditions that connect us all. For more information on D23, the official Disney fan club, and how to become a Gold member, visit D23.com/join.